I want to encourage the young women out there that they live with their relatives, whether they are house helps or they are storekeepers or they sell for somebody. Mr. Speaker, I'm a bit sad today because I got some information this morning. There's this young lady that lives with a relative, and every day the husband wants to rape her. And the moment she wants to, when she wants to talk about it.
The husband wants what?
The husband wants to rape the house help.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And anytime the lady wants to talk about or trying to tell the sister, then another relative comes. You are spoiling their marriage because of the way you behave, because of the kind of clothes that you wear. That is why my husband was interested or had interested in you. Yes, Mr. Speaker, so I want to tell the men that when they see any young woman dressing anyhow, that is how they feel like dressing. It's not their fault. So if you are a man here and you see a young lady wearing a dress that you think is transparent or you think the bum is shaking, please zip. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, let me give the minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made by the Honorable Doyo on our observing the International Women's Day in Ghana on the theme Accelerate Action for Affirmative Action. And Mr. Speaker, in commending her to recognize that as a country we should appreciate the strides we have made and the progress we have made. At least as of today, Ghana have passed an affirmative action legislation. That is the best legal framework that will guide every institution, including governance institution, the president, parliament, the speaker, the judiciary, to ensure increased and equitable representation of women in our national public life. Mr. Speaker, my second observation is for us to be sincere sometimes to some of the requests or demands we make, even in this chamber. The Constitution of 1992, let's work with it even in this chamber. The Constitution says there shall be elections of members of parliament. It does not provide for how many women can be represented or will be represented. It proves to other countries, particularly in East Africa. Yes, it's true. They've made tremendous progress in terms of women representation, largely not because their constitutions provide for appointment of women into those positions. Not like Ghana. So in their parliament, a certain representation is dedicated for women. In their parliament, a certain representation is dedicated for youth. In Ghana's parliament, maybe we should provide for it, but that will require an amendment to the 1992 Constitution to say that even after we have gone through an election, maybe today you have 275 members of parliament, we can decide that the president appoint additional 25 women to parliament. But that can only be done if we review the 1992 Constitution as it is today. Without doing that, they must go through elections. Mr. Speaker, we've heard comments whether the president have appointed enough women or not. If you take, for instance, the current representation of parliament, maybe 31 NDC women, 10 on the other side, some 40. Then you say 50 plus 1. I should recognize Abena as the first woman chair of the Public Accounts Committee. I'm sure she will learn from the strife of the Honorable Bagbin, Honorable Kandapa, Honorable Ajima Menu, and more importantly, Honorable Aveji, the just past chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. But what we are interested in Ghana is not post-mortem, flawless examination of dead bodies. Public accounts. You wait until the mess is done and you say you are correcting it. No. If you did your work well, nobody will go to a mortuary asking for a dead body. we should strengthen our internal systems so that the abuses of embezzlement, misappropriation, and others are dealt with in a manner which is preventive. Every year, but Mr. Speaker, I'm digressing from Honorable Doyo's text. Let me come back to it. We've had the Sophia Akufu's Lady Chief Justice, Mas C.J. Georgina Wood. We now have the current Chief Justice, also a woman. We've had, undoubtedly, the first ever woman vice
Honorable
president
Minister
of
for
the
Education.
Republic.
Hold on, let me listen to the chairman for public accounts. He wants...
Mr. Speaker, I'm surprised my respected colleague is rather denigrating a committee of parliament. What Public Accounts Committee does is also very important and is stipulated by law. And so for him to refer to it as, I don't want to repeat it, I would beg of him to retract and apologize because it's a committee of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, withdrawn. So, Mr. Speaker, in fact, she reminds me, Mr. Speaker, that a woman's strength is not measured by her ability to endure, but by her courage to rise every time she falls. A quote I just found somewhere. And that women, strong women don't wait for doors. You open your own. So, Mr. Speaker, some opportunities have been given to women. In Parliament, we know the effort you and the Speaker are making to ensure that even in the parliamentary service, there are more women. I know what happens when you want to increase representation. But generally, Mr. Speaker, we should be particular about how do we strengthen and ensure more women representation in public service. The first is education. Are we providing equal educational opportunities for them? Are we providing that, whether technical or vocational education? Their health needs, are we providing adequately? So even in this parliament, all the women here go and demand gender-sensitive budget allocations. In every budget, we should pay particular attention. How much have been allocated to advance the cause of women? Then we know we are making many meaningful contributions. So, Mr. Speaker, I commend her. I conclude by saying that, yes, Ghana, we should not lose sight of the fact that we've made tremendous progress since 1993. If you look at the quality of women who have served in our national public life, including even international organizations, whether the UN or WHO, many women have distinguished themselves. Mr. Speaker, with this, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me go to Etiwa West. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity given me to contribute to Honorable Doyo, the woman's leader. Mr. Speaker, in recognizing it isn't only about achievements, which we know we have done quite considerably. Placed the affirmative 30% of his cabinet as women. They were having an event here at Parliament House to celebrate International Women's Day. Girl has access to farmers, nursing teachers, who actually farmers, nursing teachers, who actually...
Let me listen to the ladies first. Yes, Domekwa Benya.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity to contribute on the statement delivered by Honorable Comfort Doyo Kuju. Mr. Speaker, today we join the global community in celebrating International Women's Day. Mr. Speaker, today is a special day for all women. We say Ayuko to them. This year's theme is Accelerate in Action. It is a call to action to accelerate gender priority, challenge stereotypes, and uplift the voices of women everywhere. Mr. Speaker, in Ghana, we have made significant strides in promoting gender equality. But, Mr. Speaker, we are still behind. We still have a lot to do. And, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for giving us a vice president who represents us in Ghana here. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency Professor J. Nana Opoku Agyeman is the Vice President of Ghana. And Mr. Speaker, we say thank you to His Excellency for giving women this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I was very glad when the Finance Minister yesterday, in reading his budget, allocated 292.4 million cedis to provide free sanitary pads for women, girls and women in Ghana, and also allocated 5.3 million as seed money to establish the Women's Bank, which will provide empowerment and not just benefiting women globally, but families and communities. Mr. Speaker, however, we still have work to do when it comes to women in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the girl-child education is very important, and I pray and I hope that the education minister should be able to help us promote a lot of girls, especially in the rural areas, where we still have children who are not attending school, especially girls. Mr. Speaker, as we commemorate this day, let us celebrate the achievements we have made together as women. I want to thank you for this opportunity. Mighty Yeti, Yatuma, to all the women, Yamoya, Ayuko, Moniyo, Miawe, Leji, Mauneyira, Miakata. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, let him come to Amanfi Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know it's not easy to, when it comes to leadership of women. Most of the time in business, in politics, people believe that the role of a woman should always be less. It's about time we need to look at women into certain positions when it comes to leadership in politics and also in business. Mr. Speaker, a leadership is not about gender. It's not about gender. It's about vision, courage, service, love. Women have all these qualities. Mr. Speaker, the young girls out there, I say dream big. You can be a doctor, you can be a teacher, you can be a scientist, and that is why His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and our Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman, said they are there to support women and they are there to make sure that the women count a lot in Parliament here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me come to you. The constituency is Aguna West. Let me hear you. Honorable members, every lady will speak. So you should all prepare. Every lady will speak. So Aguna West.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also contribute to this August House on the statement made by our honorable leader, Comfort Doyu. Mr. Speaker, I must say women were beautifully and wonderfully created. And so women are so special to this country. Mr. Speaker, Dr. Kwedri Agri once said, when you educate a man, you educate an individual. But when you educate a woman, you educate a whole nation. Mr. Speaker, as women, when we are given leadership role, you could see that women perform wonderfully well as compared to our able men. Mr. Speaker, I must say, women take good care of all management in terms of home management and then the offices too. Mr. Speaker, women were created to also multiply. And so when you put into consideration, when there is this intercourse, you could see that a woman would take the seed and then nurture it, and then at the end of it all, will produce a human being to the nation. Mr. Speaker, to read, I would say that if you are a woman, never look down upon yourself, believe in yourself. If others are doing it, believe in yourself that you can also do it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm going to, yes. Which constituency?
Upper Denchira East, Mr. Speaker.
Upper Denchira East, yes, that's Dunkwa, eh?
Yes, please.
Very well, let's hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity you have given unto me to contribute to the statement made by our leader, Honorable Comfort Doyo. I would dwell my statement on, Mr. Speaker, the fact that women are ever ready to contribute and carry out effectively whatever position they find themselves in. Most of the time, the attacks on women make a lot of us to withdraw. Whenever a woman wants to enter into politics, let's consider our radio landscape. Let's consider our television, how men are lambasting women. When some of this thing happens, women have no choice than to withdraw. Then the confidence that they have, they use to come and talk boldly, some of these things are withdrawn. I want to seize this opportunity to advise every woman up there that in Ghana here, we have a lot of women who have performed, who have done excellently. So they shouldn't be cowed, they shouldn't withdraw, they should all come boldly, learn from those who have performed excellently, and together we will make it as women. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very, very much. Let me now go to Kasua East. What's the name of the constituency?
Ewutu Senya East.
Ewutu Senya East.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute to the statement made by our leader, Honorable Doyo. Today is International Women's Day, and I applaud every woman on the globe for this day. Mr. Speaker, it is not enough for us to always celebrate this day. I think as women, we should be able to champion certain policies that would help us achieve our purpose. Mr. Speaker, we may be happy today, we may be good, but the ordinary woman on the street out there is not happy. And if that ordinary woman on the street is not happy, then as women, we have no right to be happy. Because as women, we are representatives of all the women out there, and we need to be there for each other. It is difficult to know that a fellow woman on the streets is going through a very difficult time, and we cannot help. It is not enough celebrating the International Women's Day, but it is for us to hold each other's hands. Let us go up together. Let us pull each other together. Let us make the women succeed. For women, I don't think that it is enough for you to think that the world would be at your feet. No, it is for you to be in the world and make the world work for you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Let me now move to Doma East. Doma East.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this year's International Women's Day with the theme Equity and Equality. Let me also take the opportunity to thank our leader, Honorable Doyo, for the statement given. I therefore take this opportunity also to thank all women, especially when it comes to caring for the sick and the aged. And that reminds me of our old and our first nurse named Florence Nightingale, who was also named the Lady with the Lamp. Back to the history of Shifra and Pua, they were also midwives. And upon that, we've got many midwives in the country caring for our pregnant women. And when it comes to their delivery also, they also assist them for the women to have a safe delivery. Let me take this opportunity also to remind our women who are farmers, especially at Doma East. They've been doing a lot to serve the country and the community when it comes to feeding. Again, I want to express my sincere thanks to mothers who are single parents for carrying their children and then bringing them up for their betterment when it comes to education. I therefore congratulate all women for assisting husbands, families, when it comes to the care of our children. Let me take this opportunity as well to congratulate all women, especially the old ladies who have been taking care of the aged and the sick people. More grace to our elbows as women. Congratulations. I say Ayuko to all women. And not forgetting, before a woman can do something better or good, we still need the support of the government and our husbands and brothers. With their support, women can do more and do better. Let me take this opportunity to give thanks to the people of Doma East. I say bravo to everybody. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Let him now go to Aburi. Is it Aburi East? Come again.
Equiapem South.
What's the name of the constituency? Equiapem
South.
South. Very well, very well. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to clear my throat on this floor. And also thank you to our leader, Honorable Comfort Doyo, for the statement ably made to commemorate the International Women's Day. Mr. Speaker, we have made significant strides in our space for women to be able to make it to this point. But Mr. Speaker, the pace at which we are going or moving is really a tortoise pace. And if we are looking to achieve gender parity, then, Mr. Speaker, we need to accelerate action now. Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to thank the people of Equiapem South for entrusting me with their mandate as a second woman as a second woman from the constituency to hold this position, which was a legacy held by the late Vida Amedi Yeboah, whose initiative, through the Faraway, empowered a lot of girls to be able to be where we are today. So, Mr. Speaker, I also want to appeal to this August House that we should increase the rate or, Mr. Speaker, the representation that we have in this parliament. We should increase it to at least 30%, just as Rwanda has been able to do it, so that there are certain seats that are reserved for women, so that we can achieve this gender parity at the rate that it ought to be. Just as our honourable member, Minister for Education, elicited in his earlier comment, so that we can have more women to represent us. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I would also plead
upon this August House that we are able to accelerate action so that we can be part of the International Parliamentary Union by 2028 so that we will not be observers. Because based on their recommendation, we need about 30% representation of women in each parliament so that we can be taken very serious at that union. So, Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to congratulate all women in this country and globally for the great strides we have made in the political space, in other leadership roles. Mr. Speaker, I also want to use this opportunity to congratulate the women, the good people in Okuapem himself, for the very great contribution that they have made in the farming sector,